For everybody on the call, if you haven't met me yet, my name's Kim. I'll be your host for today's session. Before we get started too much though, I'd like to introduce myself. I am a senior professional services consultant, and I've been using Wrike since 2016. I take my experience as a former Wrike client using Wrike in a creative services department to help marketing and comms teams just like yours get the most value as quickly as possible. Helping teams learn how to wield Wrike with precision gets me excited for my day. And all of us here at Wrike are excited to be here with you to talk about how creating custom dashboards can help your teams manage assets, requests, approvals, and files all in one place. I've got Alex and Katya and Chris here with me helping with chat, technical things that might pop up, and any questions you might send along the way. So go ahead and feel free to send that out and we can start aggregating and see what kinds of common themes we get back. So let's go ahead and get started. Why are we here today? What's going on? Well, dashboards, that's what it's all about. They bring so much value to marketing teams. They're instrumental in surfacing specific items of interest, right? And giving you that overview at a glance. Dashboards help get you out of your inbox. They help you navigate your to-do list and helps you surface your goals, right? Your strategic initiatives all in one spot. So in the demo today, we'll see how marketing teams like yours take a process like assets, proofing, and approvals and manage that through a dashboard. We're lucky in that a lot of our clients shout from the rooftops about how much they love Wrike. And we're even more lucky in that some of us give us some quotes and use cases like Skona here, a global design firm. They say Wrike's ability to provide a high-level view of all projects gives the CEO confidence that her team is delivering work at the highest possible standards. That's really great praise, right? All of that to say, I work with marketing teams at companies like Skona all the time, and they realize the most value from Wrike when they're using dashboards exactly like the ones I'm about to show you today. If you want to learn a little bit more about how Wrike helps Skona specifically, we've got the deep dive on our use cases page. I'm sure one of our friends here in the chat can share that with you as a resource after the call. But we're all here to get right into the juice of things. So let's go ahead and do that. As a quick disclaimer, and as I start to get things pulled up here on the screen, I am using Wrike Lightspeed. So you may have heard a little bit of news about powerful new updates that are coming to the platform. So if you're comparing at home with what I've got going on here, just know that if you see something a little bit different, that's the reason why. I encourage everybody to take a look around and start to get comfortable because it really is the latest and greatest. So what do we have here, right? We've got a little bit of a setup that I'd like to walk you through. Let me. We've got a marketing and comms team here, right? I have a creative services team specifically set up. We've got a high-level folder structure here where we have work coming in from the incoming request form here. You can see that lined up in our active folder. You can see work that we've completed. We also are sorting things by asset type too. Leadership on this team is very curious to make sure we're keeping an eye on the different deliverables that we have going on. In the table view, we get a nice high-level overview of the statuses of these projects. We can see who's assigned, and we've got a couple custom fields configured here for us to be able to further use dashboards and that filtering power to get to the information that we want. Now, in this view, you might be thinking to yourself, there's not much surfacing here with regards to approvals, and that's where dashboards really come in and shine, right? So let's talk about building one and getting one started. If you are the admin or the owner of your space and you see tools, there might be a plus sign next to it there. If not, never fear, right? Everybody has the power and control to do this from their own personal spaces. So if you're following along at home with me, let's go to your personal space and let's review just the high-level basics of what we have going on in dashboards before we get into that approval dashboard you saw there at the beginning. So follow along with me. You can choose Create Tool, or I like to use the plus sign. From here, we'll select Dashboard, give it a nice name, Active Approvals and Projects. Create it in your personal space. When we first create a dashboard, they're empty and full of hope. So let's go ahead and put some items in here. I'm going to just do the basics right now. When you choose plus widget, you are presented with several out-of-the-box options here, and they're great for you to explore after the call. We're going to focus today on my top 3. 99% of the time, these are the ones that I go to most often. I'm going to start in the middle instead of the beginning and talk first about project widgets. It's important when building your dashboard that you understand where your data is. Is it at the project level or is it at the task level? Depending on what's going on there, you're going to want to choose the appropriate widget to go along with that. So let's explore the project widget first. Here, we'll do something simple, give it an easy name. All active projects. Choose our folder location. I'm going to keep it simple right now, and we're just going to look in the entire marketing and comms department for now. I do want to kind of rifle down through the folder structure, right? I want to see what's going on. So I'll check this box and whoa, you can see right away in the preview here that we now have 91 projects to take a look at. But because the title of this is all active, we're going to shift our attention over to the right-hand side to our handy dandy filter column. Filtering is one of the top skills that you should leverage with Wrike. It is showing up in so many different places, and it's very, very powerful. So the more you get familiar with this, the better you'll be able to fine-tune your widgets for the specific use case that you're looking for. Because I said this is active, I'm just going to keep it simple and choose all active here, and we'll see right away in our preview that we're down to 26 projects. I like that. I like that a lot. It's a little bit jimbly-jambly sorted by date, so I'm going to choose to sort by status in this case. You can see things get nice and organized. Project level data, right? So remember, projects have progress, and we can dip inside of the projects to see more detail about the things that are going on. So really that little shortcut that we built inside of the dashboard there, it really helps people who are visiting and they're interested in one specific thing to be able to dive into it. Our next widget, we're going to focus on the custom widget. This is for all of our task level data, right? So dipping inside the project, let's go ahead and name this one all active tasks. Keeping it simple, let's choose the same data source. I do want to rifle down through the folders, right? Show me what's going on. Got 380 tasks here, but we know by default we get all active selected, so that's nice. Choose add to dashboard. So here we can see the difference. Same data source. We're looking inside the marketing and comms. We see the difference between project level data and task level data. These are the tasks inside the projects. The final widget that I'm going to show you at a high level here is the files widget. I love this for my creative teams and for any team that really needs to do something visual, right? Excuse me. We'll choose all active approvals in this case. Let's choose the same data source. Right. We can sort by a series of choices here. I'm going to keep it simple with the upload date. And this is where it gets fun. I can choose the density with which I want to show my imagery, right? So if I want to get really, really big, I can. This is good for teams who need to have like logo standards or templates or documents that always need to be filled out a certain way, or here is the PowerPoint banner that you need to do for your social post, right? Having a visual representation to that right in your dashboard can really keep people on the same page. So there we have really high level, how to start off a dashboard, how to put my top 3 widgets inside, project-based widget, a task-based widget, and a file-based widget. But let's get to how we can really fine-tune this for an approvals and proofing process. And for that, I'm going to shift gears and move over into my creative services team space, expand my tools here, and let's dip into the approval dashboard. So what is it that we're looking at here? We have some widgets that are filtered in certain ways to help us surface all of the information in a more meaningful way. First off the bat, if you're following along at home with me, I'm going to hit new widget. Once you get into that, choose a task-based widget, and you'll be presented with a similar interface. So this one is special. It's called My Pending Approvals, right? What's the whole lead into the My? Well, there is a lovely little filter here on the right-hand side where we expand the approvals section. And down low, if we open up the approvers, we can see here we have current user. What does that mean? Well, when you're logged in, Wrike knows who you are. You told them, right? And so if we come in here and we open up a dashboard or a view and we've got current user selected, that means Wrike's going to do the one-to-one and say, I'm only going to show you things that matter to you as the current user. This is a great filter and widget to have set up for dashboards that are in a team space where multiple people might want to take advantage of the information here. And you can set up this filter to really customize that so it gets down to the heart of what's in it for me. What do I have to do today? So here I'm role playing as Ronald, the lead marketer here, and I can see that I've got 2 things assigned to me in my pending approvals. I will walk us through an approval process in just a moment, but quickly I'd like to walk through how some of these other widgets are configured as well. So next up, have you ever experienced bottlenecks? Who is holding us up? Why are these approvals not coming through? Well, what we can see here is I've configured this one to say, who are all of our marketing leaders that are in an approval process and what's going on with that? I've configured that over here on the right. Instead of choosing current user, you might have set up user groups in the back end of your system. So maybe you have a creative team, a comms team, brand, whatever the situation may be. Here we've got our marketing leaders as a group, and they're responsible for a certain amount of approval process. And we can see that we've got some bottlenecks happening here. So we're able to address that right away. I'm going to hit save on that. Next up, let's talk about overdue approvals, right? We've got some people who aren't quite getting the job done. Let's talk about what that looks like. Here, right, same parameters as before, but we've chosen up here at the top this waiting to start and pending approval. There is a little bit of a nuance between the two. If you've explored a Wrike approval before, you can go in there and start setting things up, but if you don't hit done or save, you really haven't kicked it off yet. That's that waiting to start component. As soon as you click the green button and you're off and running, well, now we're pending. So I like to do a little bit of a safety net and just grab both just in case people get pulled away from their desk. We all have that happen. And then we scroll down a little bit, we can see due date, and I've selected the overdue option and today just to make sure we catch what needs to happen today as well. And that's how we can surface the overdue approval. Now you might be asking to yourself, well, Kim, I can see here that you have this is due August 4th and August 12th. What is overdue about this? And this is a nuance that I'd like to bring up for folks on the team. If you feel like you're looking at this and because it says overdue approvals and you glance at this date, you might think, oh, that's the date of the approval. You would be mistaken. Let's take a closer look. As we dive into this, we can see that the date of the task is August 4th, but the actual date for the approval itself is the 16th. Right? 2 different dates, but the one that we're surfacing by default is always going to be the task due date. So please keep that in mind when you're configuring these, but I do think it's important to surface just because it's hidden in that manner. Now we know and can pinpoint the ones we need to take action on. Next up, we have guest reviews in progress. So before I dip into that, let's talk about the approval process because I want to show you how setting up some automations can move things around the dashboard. So here we've got our dedicated landing page and we have an approval process set up. I'm Ronald, I'm here. Oh, but we also have our friend Alan assigned to this as well. So some scenarios that I sometimes hear is we've got multiple people that can approve this, Kim. How do we manage with that? And we say, that's fine. First person out the gate who say, I can approve this, that's cool. Alan doesn't need to be involved. Let's go ahead and remove them. And then we can come in here and we can review the file. So what do we see here? We've got the file up for review. Since I'm assigned as the person to be the reviewer, down at the bottom, I have the option to choose approve or changes required. Now we've got our standard markup tools up here, right? I'm gonna come up here and make a comment. Now remember, we're always going to be good Wrike citizens. And when we make a comment, we wanna be actually talking to somebody, right? Go ahead and send that out. And right away, we can see that we get a string in the columns. We can, a comment in the string over here, and we can resolve it if we want to. We can even do version comparison, right? If I load up another image where Chandler's got a little bit more hair sticking up, we can do a version comparison and check to make sure that that's so. You can always download, of course, grab the link. So I'm going to go ahead and approve this, and we'll notice something happens, right? This is actually great. We'll approve that. So now we can see that a final decision has been made. Up in the left-hand corner, we've got a little checkbox, and we're off, and we can see in the string the comments that we have there, that things have been approved. Now, if we wanted to start a guest review, that is for somebody who's not inside of Wrike, we want to make sure that they have the ability, an external stakeholder, we can select the image and start the guest review here. We get an email, name, a message, ability to download for a certain period of time, and you can even password protect it if you need to. So what's nice to say about all of this is that we can configure inside of our dashboard to keep track of the guest reviews we have in progress. And just to wrap it up, I know we're getting close to time, and I want to make sure there's people can answer some questions. Waiting to start, this is configured via status, right? What is the status? Stakeholder review. Let's surface that. You should be familiar with this one. We set that up on the previous dashboard. And then, of course, as people mark things approved and rejected, we can keep track of that as well. Okay. I know that was a lot. We've got the recording. If you're able to follow along with me, woohoo. I'd like to take a moment, though, to take a breath and see if there are any questions that have come through in the chat.
I might chime in here, Kim. Thank you so very much for putting that together. Really well done. Loving Chandler's hair. That's great. Got a couple of questions that are coming through here. I've got one from Heather. Is there a plan to show the approval due date rather than the task due date when looking at these approvals buckets? This has caused confusion for folks in the past. So wondering, is there a way to be able to kind of filter down potentially for the approval dates?
You know, that is a really good question, and I believe it is on our roadmap, right? We are working on improving approvals in various fashions. So your comments are loud and clear regarding that. What I like to do to mitigate that in the meantime is to be very, very specific about what my widget says, right? And that way we can, you know, maybe wait a minute, not task, right? If we need to kind of surface that up inside of the system. I also do that if I am doing like a due date where there is a rolling date that's 7 days ahead or 30 days ahead. I'll also maybe put that inside of the title too, so that people can understand what those timeframes are. So right now, that's the closest that we can get for that with regards to having those approval dates surface, but it is a piece of feedback that we do here and we're working on for sure.
Great creative solution. Thanks, Kim.
Mm-hmm.
Got another question here. Do you have to upload the file directly into Wrike in order to create an approval, or can you upload to say Dropbox to trigger an approval?
So here, if we are, let's wait for the thing to load. So let's say we're here. So we have, and I think it was Dropbox that you said. So if we have attached a file to Wrike with one of the cloud services, the little logo pops up next to it, right? And when you click to open it, it's going to, depending on if you have the document editor installed or not, open it in that platform for you to either edit and review. Now, when it's checked for approval and it's Dropbox, I do believe you stay inside the Wrike system so that you use the Wrike markup tools and all of the commenting and approvals there. So you stay within the ecosystem when that happens. I hope that answered the question.
Yeah. Okay. And my next question here is, if you run a report on approvals, would due dates for the tasks of the approval itself?
No, not at this time. There are no options to surface approval due dates in a report.
Okay. And here I'm trying to read. We tell approvals. So if any scheduled in the date, thanks for keeping this. Oh, we tell. My apologies. I'm trying to make. I'm trying to read this question here a little carefully. Right. It's. Heather, I might ask you to resend that question through if you could possibly, please.
While we're
Big
waiting for that, I just want to surface
time.
another dashboard that I built for this conversation. So if you're sitting in the background having a look around, this is a production dashboard where we are surfacing items created today, due this week, a couple safety blankets, right? We want to catch things that are unassigned or maybe don't have due dates, things that are overdue, things that are assigned to just our team, and by asset type. So I'll leave that here for people to kind of take a look at while we answer some more questions.
It's actually more of a praise, to be honest. It's actually a big thanks for the hot topic and running it. Appreciates that your energy there as well, and for keeping it a hot topic, Kim.
Absolutely.
Anybody else have any questions? Now's a good time to put them through.
Yeah. I'm always ready to show you more things. So not only is there a way to take a look at it like a production viewpoint, right? But let's dip into the marketing comm space and have a look at what a dashboard might look at like for, higher up in the organization, right? Not specifically just the creative services team. So here we can take a look at this dashboard called the Global Integrated Campaign Overview, right? And this is marketing for creative. We've got events stuff happening in here as well. And what's nice is that leveraging custom fields and different folder structures, let's take a look at that, how that's set up here. We have a folder for regions, right? We're leveraging our request form so that when we ask you, hey, where's this work being done? We can automatically cross tag the project into the correct region and also grab the custom field data to start building dashboards that say, here's everything for North America, here's everything for Europe, here's everything for Asia. Again, these are project level widgets. So high level, right? As Ronald, the marketing director, I want to be able to quickly come in and pinpoint projects that are at risk and see how I can help move assets around or resources to help with that, right? Due this month. This is, one of those scenarios, again, Heather, that I had mentioned where we want to be very prescriptive with how we're labeling our widgets so that somebody new joins the team, we're scaling, we're growing. We want them to be able to dip into this dashboard and easily understand what the data is that's being surfaced to me so that we, find use out of what's happening. So do this month, right? We don't have to worry about what's coming up in the next month. Again, we have overdue here so we can come in, take action. Unassigned. I really feel like the safety blanket component of dashboards is overlooked, right? It's also good for helping teams keep your data clean, right? If we're reporting up to leadership that we did X number of social banners in Q4 for the events team, and we're measuring that, we want to be able to use a widget that surfaces, oh my gosh, we aren't filling out the region on these. And how are we going to be able to get more support in North America if that's not getting surfaced there? So what I really like about these kind of safety blanket widgets is that it keeps the whole team on that single source of truth and understanding those goals and initiatives and the data points that are important for the success of the team, right? And then the completed widget, like this is where I think it's important for culture and your teams and celebrating the small moments, right? We get so ingrained in our day-to-day activity. We finish the one campaign and we're on to the next, and we never have kind of that moment. I feel like the completed, like this month or this week, is good, not only because it's easy to quickly go find the things I just did, but also it gives me that feeling of accomplishment. Like, look at what we are getting done. Look at what we can celebrate together and see how this changes over time, right? So there's some thoughts on a global integrated campaign dashboard. But we are about 3 minutes out, and there is just one more topic that I would like to discuss before we move to the end of the session. There is a tremendous amount of support out there for you regarding your learning journey here at Wrike, right? We have your account managers. They're dedicated for all of your commercial rated topics, right? If you want to do an add-on, add more seats, expand, see what's coming up with events, this is your person. Your customer success manager, right there, your long-term support there to answer quick questions, help you with your long-term right goals. They check in with you, make sure that you're maximizing your value, right? Something goes wrong, your technical support team, right? They're the ones dealing with bugs, all of the technical bits and pieces. They're there for you 24/7. Our community page is lively. It's, so much going on there. I highly recommend you check it out, find some topics that interest you and get involved. I've learned so much myself from the community. And then of course, y'all got here through Wrike Discover. It's one of my favorite things. We appreciate that you explored and found it here, but there's so many other sessions and courses that you can be getting out of Wrike Discover, and I highly recommend keeping an eye out there. And then finally, just to wrap it all up, if you felt that I brought value to you and gave you some more information than you didn't have before, and you maybe would like to partner up, Professional Services is here to help you find the quickest value to Wrike. We listen and we help build solutions to get you to that value as soon as possible. We have a personalized approach, hands-on. We can also come in and facilitate training. There's so much that we can do to help you out. And if you're curious about that, reach out to your AM or your CSM to learn more. I just want to say thank you for your participation today and for bringing the questions. And I hope to see you on the next session when we follow up some more marketing topics. Thanks, everybody.